All right, number 7 says y is the midpoint of segment xz. X has the coordinates 2, 4, and y has the coordinates -1, 1. Find the coordinates of z. So what we're seeing here is that we have this point y that is the midpoint of xz, but we know the coordinates of the midpoint, which is y. So y is the midpoint, and we know the coordinates of y. And we know the endpoint coordinates of x, but we don't know the other endpoint. So to solve, you end up with two separate equations. You have a equation for finding the midpoint of x and the y of the midpoint. So I have my end result, y, for my x. X is -1, and that is equal to, from the midpoint formula, my x1 of 2 plus my unknown x1 from my z point. So I'm going to call that x2 divided by 2. And this is where z has the coordinates of x2, y2. To solve this, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So that gives me -2 is equal to 2 plus my second x coordinate. I'm going to subtract out the 2 from both sides. That gives me that my x2 is equal to -4. Now I have to solve for my y2. I know my midpoint y coordinate is 1, and that is equal to my y1, which is from my x coordinate. So I have 4 plus my unknown y2 from point z divided by 2. And again, that's from the midpoint formula. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. That gives me that 2 is equal to 4 plus y2. I'm going to subtract out the 4 from both sides. And that gives me that my second y coordinate is equal to -2. 2 minus -4, 2 minus 4 is -2. So now I have my x and my y separately. So now I can give my total to say that the coordinates of point z are -4, -2. Make sure you're putting your x coordinate first and then your y coordinate.